Anybody hear me?
Good evening. Oh,
Good evening.
they can hear me?
Good evening.
Simon says, stand up. There you go, my friends.
Hello? Hello? I'll put it over here.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay. What did everybody think about the dinner in the library?
I was going to say, what did everybody think about the library? Yeah. That turned out very nice. And the kids seem to be excited about it, almost a little more than probably the adults. A little.
We did 18 months, built it from ground up. All right, let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What do you all think of our new council area? It looks good, don't it? I can tell you one thing. Huh? Yeah. All they need is somebody to do it. All righty, let's go ahead and get started. I was going to ask this young man here if he would do our prayer for us.
Let's pray. Almighty eternal God, we do well always and everywhere to give you thanks and praise, and we are especially grateful for the gift of this night, this place, this wonderful gathering of your servants, and the wonderful opportunity that there is for look with favor upon each and every one. Guide us, guard us, direct us, protect us, anoint us, and use us to your purpose. In Jesus' precious name we pray.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much, Edward. And roll call, please.
Councilmember Roberts.
Here.
Councilmember Morganelli.
Here.
Councilmember Hartle.
Here.
Vice Mayor Womack.
Here.
Mayor Wynkoop.
Here. All righty. Thank you very much. First thing we're going to do is our presentation. Paul's going to give us a look at the last 5 years and show us where we were and where we are. It's kind of appropriate with the library opening and all. And we thought we'd have more people, so we did it.
Technology. All right, we'll try this.
Might want to try one of these.
I might have to. All right, we'll try this again. All right. Thank you, Mayor, Council. As you know, every year I give a yearly review, just kind of everything the council accomplished over the year. This year I thought, since it's our 100-year centennial, I'll do a quick little look back, maybe 50, 60, 70 years from some of the old pictures we did. Also give your year review, but this is also the 5th year anniversary of me being your town manager. And so I thought I would also pop and look at some of the accomplishments that we as a council have worked and done together. So just little fun facts. Judge E.M. Talley was sworn as Montverde's first mayor in 1925. I don't know if any of you know him, but This is out of Lake Apopka, Tom's fish camp. I don't think you can catch anything that good anymore, but my understanding it was the premier bass lake, and that's what Montverde was really known for, is kind of the bass capital area in Lake Apopka. This I found interesting. Our property taxes back in the 55-56 budget was, as you can see, $1,200, but the cigarette tax was more than the property tax back in the day. So I made some pretty good money on cigarette tax, but the whole town budget was run off $8,289. And what was the other fun thing on there? Oh, the fire chief salary was $130 a year, by the way, back in those days. just a neat look back. Looking back over this last year, council has been very busy considering lots of resolutions and ordinances, and just in the normal duty of the town business. So I wanted to review a little bit of those. So this past year, the town and management, we worked together to submit an application for our new consumptive use water permit. We're required by statute every year to work through St. John's to get permission to pump water out of the lower Floridian aquifer, or excuse me, the upper Floridian aquifer. This process is now 18 months in the works to obtain a 20-year permit to get our water, and we're getting really close to getting that done. So this will be something that this council will do that will take care of the town for the next 20 years. We've also submitted our water facility plan to DEP so we can access our nearly $13 million in grants for our storm water and street projects that we have in town. That's a 100% grant with no match required. We completed a comprehensive vulnerability assessment for our future to look at areas where we have vulnerabilities in town for flooding, risk along that, and that opens up the door for future grants if the council wants to go after some additional storm and clean water grants. We also authorized the stormwater facility plan in the neighborhood. Excuse me, I apologize. The top 12.9 is for our water system. I apologize. That's for our water system. And the $19 million was for the storm water projects. Also, the council did many updates to our codes. Also, some of those were to comply with statutory requirements. Some of those were some fixing of our land development codes, working with our town planner. Included some comp plan amendments, which was several hundred-page book that the council went through and spent many meetings looking at. We've had various zoning and conditional use permits and hearings that were held at the council meetings. Updated our interlocal county library service agreement. So we have an agreement where the county helps us. They supplied all the computers in the library. Every book that gets checked out of the library, we get a little amount of money for every book in the circulation. So we were able to access a little bit more money this year to help support our library and offset our general budget. We also approved a new special magistrate this year who will hear our code cases moving forward. We also we did a large update to our town building impact fees. So these are the fees paid when the developers build new houses, and they fund our parks, they could fund road expansions, they fund our water system, things along that line. We also approved a new water conservation plan this last year. That was a part of our CUP permit.
And they paved last night on Lakeside.
And they paved Lakeside. So I see some thumbs up over there. We approved a bid for the Storm Lake project there. So not only did we approve the bid, my understanding, there's new asphalt on the ground. I've been so busy library, haven't looked at it. So hopefully everybody's satisfied over there with it. So that was one of the storm water projects. And again, that was two separate grants that funded it, where we received 100% that paid without the town having to put any money into it to have that done. We also approved a bid for a new mowing contract this year, a landscaping contract, put that out for bid. Negotiated a 20-year ISBA with Lake County, City of Claremont, and City of Mineola. And for those of you who don't know, the ISBA, everybody knows where the Ferndale protection area is, kind of just right as you leave town, past where the fire station's being built. Mayor, is it all the way to the circle?
No, it's you see our sign that begins it, and then when you're coming back, right up to the park, you're coming back into Ferndale, you'll see another sign. That area there is the interlocal service boundary agreement, and no one can build a house there unless it's already pre-plotted, but nobody can build a house there under 5 acres now. So 10, 20 years from now, it's in place for 20 years, and 20 years from now, I'm hoping to see most of the land's been built with 5 acre lots and big houses on it, because the turnpike's right there, so people are going to find it attractive. And no apartments, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And that was a big effort between Montverde and Ferndale, and Montverde led it, and Anita handled all the legal of it, and I went to many meetings, and that protects Montverde. So that's what the goal was. And thank you for doing your job, Anita.
Yes, thank you. So that's several thousand acres that are protected from dense development. So as the mayor said, 1 home per 5 acres. There are a few small platted areas in there. They might do a little bit, but generally 1 home per 5 acres in that area. So hopefully that kind of protects our quality of life from that side. We also approved language that will be on the ballot for a supermajority vote for our density increase. You'll have to, if you want information, you can talk to one of the council members outside of this meeting about that, and they can give you some information about that. We also reduced water usage rates by 10% this year. Every city, because we buy Claremont Water and Sewer and Oakland Water, we've been getting huge increases these last couple of years where for the other places that we provide outside the city limits water. And I don't know any other towns that are reducing water rates, but we actually did a 10% reduction, and for the last 3 years we froze our usage rate on top of that. So we're working to try to improve our water system, make it more efficient for our citizens, and as more people come online, we'll have some more opportunities, hopefully for some savings down the road. I wouldn't count on that.
We also have a $12.5 million grant that the engineers are working with right now to install a new water tower on the hill where the fire trucks or the fire station's going in, and this is all our town manager working hard for us.
We had a Hurricane Milton this year. The town council considered and passed a resolution that froze the permit fees for people affected with direct hurricane damage, just trying to make it easier for citizens that had some damage. And so that's the last 12 months, some of the major things that the town council has heard. They've also had plenty of land development hearing cases, lots of everything from golf cart discussions to other things that affect the town. But those were some of the major milestones that this council has worked on this year. So they've done a great job, a lot of works. Their books are usually anywhere from 100 to 500 pages. They have to review every meeting to prepare for the meeting. So I commend each and every one of you because I know it's a lot of work to review that and be ready for these meetings. So thank you for that. It makes my job easier because we have a council that does that. Now I kind of just wanted to look back and recap over some of the things over the last 5 years where I think are big accomplishments over the town, because sometimes, things just happen at a steady pace. It's good to look back to see some of the things that were done so we can help figure out where we're going on some of these things. At first I want to point out that Montverde has the lowest mills in Lake County from property taxes, and one of the lowest in the state of Florida by far, 2.83 mills. We've been at 2.83 mills since 2006 in the town of Montverde. And actually in 2006, it was 2.99 mills. We went down from 06. Again, there's not very many communities. I put that little footnote at the bottom. Winter Garden this year had to consider a large increase to pay for their fire department. I know this year Claremont went down a little bit, but they went down went up $1.5 million or so $1.25 million something the year before. So we're doing a good job of trying to manage our resources. We are a small community, so we don't get the as large of increases with the valuations of some of the other big cities, and even those big cities are still raising the millage rate. So I'm very proud of the council. We've been able to be fiscally responsible in our budget to keep it at that rate.
To add to that, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
To add to that, I want to say Montverde is between 85 and 90% residential homesteaded. So there's not much flex room in there for more taxes because you can't raise the tax on a homestead a lot. So that we do a pretty good job with our budget and keeping the money rolling and using it correctly. But I wanted to point out that you got to remember we're say 85% residential homesteaded. So it isn't like there's a lot of commercial or anything else around here you can tax to get more money. So, Paul wasn't here, but we went through, and Anita was here, and Sean was here, and we went through '08, 9, 10, 11, 12, when the property values were going down every year. It's a year later for how much you get on your taxes, and we didn't never change the 2.83. We just wound up, doing things differently in town and making sure we didn't have to raise the taxes. And then when it went back up, we were able to start doing things that we were waiting to do. But
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Very, very correct. Very true. As we've been seeing some new homes that come into the town, and as our property taxes have increased from the new development, we've been looking strategically where to put those. We've greatly have increased our law enforcement capacity in town. As you know, we don't have our own police department. I have been asked about our own police department before. You look at other sizer towns, you're looking about a $1.4 to $1.5 million budget just to run the police department, which is more than double of what our current whole property tax budget is. We'd have to triple our mills to even run it, let alone get it going. So I think we got a nice little spot we're at in our community. We are working good in managing our sheriff's department, our highway patrol in a way that allows us to hopefully provide the necessity for law enforcement that keeps our town safe, and we're working obviously trying to keep the speeding down. Everybody sees the troopers around town. We've really been every year we've been working on our streets, starting at the worst streets we've seen and trying to get something paved every year and put sidewalks into. So we've been putting money toward that. And we've also put some money the last couple of years on fixing some of the areas in the parks and recs. As you know, the stage would be an example of that, where it was deteriorating to the point, and we were really able to build a new one for about the cost of just rebuilding the old one that we had there. So we're looking for good ways to spend the money, listening to the community on the things that are important to them. The next, I just want to, I know financial stuff. I like financial. Financial gives you kind of a good picture of where we're at. Looking back over the last year at the town's net capital positions. So your overall net positions is kind of basically everything you kind of own and what that looks like. This gives you an indication of where your town is and how healthy it is. Sometimes it goes down, for a year, but if you see a consistent down over year, most towns are starting to get in some financial issues going on. So you want to see that increase, and some of that is caused by development. Some of that's caused by increasing your assets and also having a good reserve base for your community. So we've increased our overall net position from 6.1 to 12.5. And our capital assets went from 4 million to 8 million. And so capital assets is everything: land, buildings, improvements. It includes water lines, water systems, things along that line. So we're showing that we're taking care of the stuff we have and building on the stuff we need to where it's necessary to do so. And again, a lot of this increase, I will say, it's impact fees that we never collected 5 years ago. I think you did impact fees, 6 years ago, Mayor, for the first time. So now we're getting cash in from development to pay for these infrastructure projects, and we're putting those infrastructure projects in, and that's building up our capital assets. This is the most interesting one I've looked at, because when I first got here, I took a look at this, and it's just, when you're a small town, it's kind of, you don't have when you have large expenses and you have a small population to spread it, it's hard to spread a cost out when you have big costs coming. Water systems are big costs. Everything gets more expensive every year. But we had an unrestricted net position of a negative 102,000 in our water system, and we had operating income of negative 69,000 of income in 2020. And again, I know the council at that time was using a little bit of general funds to help support the water system, which is absolutely fine to do, because our water rates were already a little bit high, and they were trying to slowly increase it to take care of it. And that started 5 years before that, actually, where the council saw we got a need and we need to take care of it. But over the last 5 years, we increased our unrestricted net position to $1.1 million. And our operating income has gone up to support our expenses. And the total net position has gone up, as you can see, a little over $5 million there. Pointing back out in 2020, the big elephant in the room is why we were basically breaking even in the water system, and there was no really reserve account. There was on the horizon these capital improvements that we are now going to do in the amount of $4.5 million and another $5 million of deferred maintenance that's been pushed off. So there's anywhere, let's say, between $5 and $9 million worth of improvements that there was no funding for back in that day. And, now as you know, or if you don't know her, we're very pleased as a community that we have the Shafi grant, and thanks for the hard work of our engineer, Woodward and Kern, Scott Shannon, who's sitting back there, and his team. We were able to access 12.9 million, 100% grant funded, to fund everything that this town needs to do to get our system up to the current standard we need to do without any cost to our residents. So I put that little thought at the bottom, think about if we didn't have that 100% grant, what that would do if DEP said, okay, time for your upgrades, because that's every time you get your permit, they look at that stuff and they say, start upgrading this, start upgrading that. Where does it come from? Water bills. So we're in a very blessed position as a community to have those funds to take care of our water system going forward. Grant funded projects. Prior to 2020, looked back, we've had a few little small projects. I think we had a small grant one for Lowry, but not very much grant funding. Over the last really 3 years, we have received over $46 million in grants for our community, which is equal to 61 years of our community's property taxes at today's rate. 61 years of property taxes. So we're going to be able to do a lot of deferred projects, the 12.9 for our water system. You see Lakeside getting done with that storm water project and street project. The multitude of storm projects we're looking at, 7th, 8th, 455, they're all in the design planning stage and coming down the pike in the next 18 months, hopefully. So we're going to have some major improvements to our town that hopefully will set us up where we won't have these large expenses down the road. So let's look at some of these capital projects we've had over the past 5 years that we've done. A big one is Lake County Fire and Rescue. So we were operating off a volunteer fire department, and gosh, I think we had maybe 28 up to 28 volunteers at once, usually young persons right out of the academy, and they did a great job at the time we need. We switched over to an agreement where that went over to Lake County Fire. Under that agreement, they placed a fire truck and an ambulance in the town of Montverde. But even backing up, when we had our volunteer fire department, they were EMTs, and I want to stress this. So they came to a scene. If you were having a heart attack, they were limited on what they could do until you stopped breathing, essentially, because they were EMTs. They weren't full-blown paramedics. Now we have a paramedic on the fire truck, and we have a paramedic on the ambulance truck. And they were able to respond with life-saving drugs for strokes and heart attacks and things along that we didn't have that capability in the past. Plus, the equipment is, generally state-of-the-art, well-kept. They're a professional crew. And this was a big thing for the town of Montverde. I really... I know the mayor had an experience, and he was a big advocate for this, and I was a little leery at first and really started looking into it, and I think it's one of the best things we've done as a community to really provide a service that we really desperately needed for our residents. Any other thing, Mayor, you want to add on that? I know you were involved in that heavily.
Yeah, I got out of my car one day in my driveway and had a heart attack and went on the ground, and lucky for me, my wife, I knew that if I called 911, I had to wait for Montverde to show up, and then they would call the ambulance. So of course I got in the car and went to South Lake, and when I got done with all that, I came back to council and said a lot of people have passed away because of our volunteer fire department doesn't have the credentials to service anybody, only to put a fire out, and 90% of their calls are medical. So the council, went through 2-3 years of, probably 2 years, because everybody had their arms wrapped around that volunteer fire department real hard, and they didn't want to let go of it. But after pushing them for a year or so, and Nita helped with it, and so did Sean, because he has a lot of experience with the county. And we sat down with the county, not this chief, but one before, and the assistant county manager, I can't remember his name. But they were sitting in there in the office, and they're talking to me, and they're like, well, we could do this, we could do that. And they're like, we still got to find a property around here to build our regional fire department. And I'm like, wait a minute. And we got in the car and went up to the Osgood, and we're standing in front of us is Fosgate, and going to the left, or to the right, to the left of us was Mineola. And then everybody knew that the Fosgate Bridge was going to be built. So they're all sitting there, and those two are sitting there going, this is perfect. They said we can go to Mineola, Fosgate, and Claremont, and Montverde, and the east side of Lake County they could service. So before you know it, they bought the 3 acres there for, I don't know, 250,000 or something, which Paul wound up using to build the sports courts. So all that sports courts is from selling 3 acres on the Stetcher property. And now, after a long time, they scratched the earth now and they're going to start building. Meanwhile, they've been here for the last 2 years, maybe longer. So everybody, when they called 911, they got people that were very qualified to help them when they got 2 minutes later at their house. So that's my long story.
So we're very thankful. I think they do a wonderful job. Even when both of them get called out in their system, if they see a hole, like let's say ours get called out far away, they start staging other fire engines closer where a hole is, so there's not a long response time if they're on a call. So it's a very good system, because now we're part of a collaboration of fire engines and professionals and ambulances. Pretty soon we'll have a new fire station built up on the hill at Fosgate and 455. That's not the final rendering, it's the first version. I couldn't find the final, but I just want to give you a heads up. So it'll be I believe a 3-bay station up there that will house the ambulance and the fire engine as well. Another project that we did to take care of the fire department, because as you know, they're right here in town, that area didn't have a kitchen area into it, so we built an 1,800 square foot kitchen on to house them for the next couple of years while their station's being built. But we built it in a way knowing that eventually the town will use that facility for another means or service to our community. So we built it with a nice kitchen in there, so if we can host an event in the future, eventually that fire station will be turned into something where we can have community gatherings and things along that line. So we were trying to think ahead, so we're not redoing something down the road.
Yeah, it's like 5,000, sorry, we're like a 5,000 square foot building. Eventually, if the council agrees, we'll make that our large community building, so if people want to have weddings or whatever, we have the facility and a kitchen. I think this council or next council would understand.
I'm already married.
This last few years, we've worked hard to try to enhance our law enforcement, as I mentioned, with variations of state patrol and working with the Lake County Sheriff's Department. We've expanded the budget and worked to kind of address some of the problems that we have in our community, and I think we have been seeing results from that. We've also done a lot of, again, our capital projects. We've done a lot of facelifts in town. The post office had the roof area redone on it. All of the beams out in front of the post office were completely rotted and at the point where there would have been an issue. So we fixed all those beams, added the stone around it to match our new library and kind of bring it all into a complex. Our old library that was here. I know, does everybody remember that one? I mean, it served a purpose. It was great for our community at the time, but it was time. And as you know, now we have, if hopefully you've taken the time to walk through, we have a beautiful facility for our community that I think the Montverde residents will be proud to bring their children and grandchildren to in the future. We have also our town hall, which this is again kind of another enhancements we did. This is kind of how it was before, and as you can tell, we went through and cleaned it up and created some more spaces for community together to visit. It's amazing by just putting those pavers in, putting the park benches, how many people gather there. And that was kind of the whole theme that we worked on with the vision committee and the council, is let's create community pocket spaces where neighbors can sit down and visit. I see mayor out time all the time and some of the council members meeting outside on the bench with the community, and you'll see that throughout the whole theme of the park area. Our stage, as we mentioned, needed a rehab, so we turned that into a picnic pavilion, which was much needed for picnics and birthday parties in our park. So now that's concrete underneath, and we built a new stage where we have more room to spread out for Montverde and do our festivities and things along that line. This was a code enforcement case on Franklin Avenue of a house that was burnt down and was open and nothing was getting done with it, we had homeless living in there, we had kids going in there. The town made the wise move to buy it and purchase it because it was near the park system, and we reimagined the space into a community butterfly garden. And the best thing about that community butterfly garden is the picture at the bottom right, how our community came together and put that together on a hot day And 4 hours we had a butterfly garden planted. It was pretty amazing. So it was fun. And thank you for, I know some of the people are here. Thank you for your work on that. We've also gave the yellow house a facelift and brought it up with, put some snow in front of it and a long overdue paint job on it. Over the past 5 years, all our trails, we've had a lot of citizens concerned about walking in the dark on these beautiful evenings because there was no lighting. So we installed lighting. That job was 100% done by Public Works, purchased the lights at a quarter of the cost if we would have contracted that out to do. So that was a great job by our Public Works team to install. I think we got 60-something lights throughout town, maybe 70, somewhere in that ballpark of those nice acorn lights. We own this little building downtown, and downtown has always struggled a little bit. The council said, let's do something with this. You know, it's sitting there. It's a little bit in despair. We went through and fixed it up and put a glass storefront on it, put a little bit of stone around it. And now we got 2 thriving businesses in there, a massage and haircutting salon. That's usually pretty busy, so we were glad to do that to bring a little vibrance to the downtown. Our cemetery, which is very important to a lot of our residents, obviously a lot of family there and everything. It was, again, long overdue for a facelift. So we've gone in and, as you can tell now, we put the black fence around it and put the stone pillars around. Something that really wasn't getting done several years ago because there wasn't the money to do it. We've been working hard to try to get the money, and we started repaving some streets and working on the worst ones like the end of 3rd Street, 1st Street, some of those streets that were just kind of crumbling. So every year we're trying to look at the worst streets and add a little asphalt to those streets. We have a new bathroom that now sits, if you haven't walked behind, please take a walk behind the arbor there. We have a new bathroom that sits halfway between the stage and the sports courts, and they put the septic in yesterday, council, by the way. And the partitions, I believe, are supposed to go in this week, so we should be having that open in the next 2 weeks in time for Montverde Day. I was getting a little nervous. But, you know, again, we brought the flavor and flair in to kind of match what's going on around the town hall to kind of keep that, that same look and design. We installed a much needed this year, built a new public works storage facility. And I hate to say it, mainly to store a lot of the Christmas stuff we had and Montverde stuff, because I do like Christmas. So everybody likes Christmas, but it's amazing how much those 7-foot snowmen take up space. So he's now stored in there. We've looked at our tennis courts and our sports courts, and I apologize, I couldn't find a picture, so I played with AI. Yes, there's a person on a horse without a head over there, but we took the tennis courts and reimagined that and built our new pickleball courts, tennis courts, and basketball courts. And shockingly enough, I'm surprised how much the basketball courts get used and how fun and vibrant our young youth are enjoying that. Well, thank you for closing those. No one closes the door behind them. You're right. This was our old batting cage that was around from the baseball court. They were getting ready. Should we haul it off? Should we throw it away? And, you know, my public works director and I, we looked at each other. We both got in the backhoe, one in the forklift, one in the backhoe, and we dragged that thing over and like, let's make something fun out of it. So now we have a new arbor to walk under and, you know, just as another community space to enhance the look of our community. This water storage tank and tower came out of a negotiation outside of the city limits. And this is kind of important. It just shows you some creative ways we're working to try to keep our taxes at the lowest we can for the residents, and how council's worked and how your team here has worked at the town hall. This development, the Hills of Montverde, which we provide water to, is outside the city limits. They wanted to build their own water system because they didn't want to pay impact fees to the town of Montverde. But under Lake County's codes, they're required to have a municipal water system hook. So they said, fine, we'll build it ourselves and we'll just give it to you. I was like, okay, I don't think that's wise, but go for it. So they're also required to hook it up to make it work with our system. So they're $950,000 into this water system on their contract, signed, sealed, and deliver, and they could have hooked up for about $500,000 or $600,000 in impact fees that they didn't want to pay. And they're $900,000 into it. Like, what do we need to do to hook it in your system? And so we got $60,000 budget. And I was like, I just had one of ours rebuilt and it was $280,000. That was a rebuild. So, long story short, we have a need for a tank because we're eventually going to hook to lower aquifer or have to pump lake water. DEP's or St. John's is going to require it. We negotiated a deal where they can hook into our water system and get our water. They turned over the contract to the town, which is a little over $900,000 for that tank and building, completely paid for. Turned that over to the town. $200,000 in cash for the water system, $100,000 to put a sidewalk in, and now they just contacted me. They're asking us, they're going to pay us to put the meters in at another $210,000, and so basically $1.5 million is what the town gained off that for providing water to 90 homes. So a win-win-win for the town and a huge cost savings. So again, another creative way. We're always looking for opportunities to try to take something and make something out of it. So they're happy. They're really happy. They got water. They can build their development. We're happy.
They don't have to manage it.
And they don't have to manage it. Correct. Yeah. Yep. And they don't have to manage it. So that's built behind the butterfly garden. So they turned over the system. They're installing the pumps. Everything's included. The $200,000 we took, built the building that will house the pump house. So, and we're going to be set up. Scott Shannon, Woodward and Kern is working on a grant funded well that's going to fill the tank. That's going to be 100% grant funded. So we're going to have another redundant, another second use of water system in the town at no cost to our citizens. And that's kind of why I want to kind of go to the 5 years. We kind of forget about, because, you know, that project was a year and a half in the making. Various council meetings, a little bit here, a little bit there, a lot of me working on it, a lot of come back to council, here's what it is, them reading, and we kind of forget about those. That's why I kind of want to back up and go through kind of the last 5 years. We've worked hard at trying to do some streetscapes, and you know, this is something we want to continue to all parts of towns. So as we find areas, we want to look at trying to enhance the trees and improve our look in town through lighting, through plantings, and through landscaping in town. Next, I kind of just want to talk about another important thing I think over the last years that we really accomplished and tried to keep. Montverde, as everybody lives here, knows, such a special place where community comes together. We like to have fun together. Sometimes we yell at each other, but we always come back and hug, right? Because we're a great community. And our community works together really good. Over the last couple of years, or really the last 2 years, most of these things you see here, we've completely redone our website. We got a lot more work we want to do to it, but we got a new website up that's more interactive. We're going to work on getting some more information over it. Winter's usually our dead time when staff has time to work on special projects. We live stream now on South Lake TV, which we're doing right now. All of our meetings are now, so if you can't make a meeting, you're interested in something on a topic, you can watch it. If you can't make it, they're on YouTube. You can Google Montverde Council meeting on YouTube, and you can go back and watch our meeting. We also, the mayor and I have done some special spots that you can find on YouTube. We've done some special videos for some realtors. We've also, you know, that showcase the town. They just want to say, hey, we're not really selling anything. We just want to showcase the town. We had Channel 9 News out here for a couple of days doing some special, you know, editions. I think everybody saw that. So we're looking at those opportunities and taking the time just to showcase our community, how special it is. We also put a new community board out there as well. And we're also on our website, we're now posting our full agenda packets for you to review. You can find minutes, finance reports, audit reports. So we're getting that stuff on the website. And all of that, all we're required to do by statute, honestly, is post the agenda on the board and on the website. So this is all extra stuff we do because we do really care and want everybody to be engaged in our community. We've had a couple of hurricanes over the last couple of years. Our community really came together. We've had residents out in the street helping neighbors. It was very good to see. I think our public works did a phenomenal job after last hurricane. I mean, we were out there when we're still under the hurricane warning, cleaning up that day. We're out cleaning up. And as you know, if you went anywhere in Lake County, other city, we were cleaned up by day 3 when everybody was still scratching their head trying to get the roads cleared out. But also, we had some great partners. We had our citizens come out and help with chainsaws, help their neighbor. Those pictures up there, Montverde Academy brought out 80 kids and cleaned that park up for us. They dragged the trees, and it was fun to watch as, you know, the girls grabbed these things and the boys went with this with a piece of moss, and we had to teach them. but we did. We did. But it was just a great opportunity, one, to work with them and have them show up because they care about our community as well. Then, we've also worked with our academy every year comes in and they help us stuff 10,000 Easter eggs that go out on our Easter egg hunt and work with them. And that also, in some of those pictures, it doesn't show it. The fire department, I think you can see one up there. The fire department came and helped stuff the eggs. We had community residents. A part of that came out and put those eggs together. And the town has done a great job at supporting our scouts. We do a donation to them every year to support them, and we support them in their Eagle Scout project. So at the top there, you can see obviously the Eagle Scout presentation being given before the town council. We've kind of one of my goals is, I believe really in building staff up and giving them opportunities to succeed and grow. And so does this council. Our council has really done a great job, and hopefully the management has too, of encouraging our staff. We talk when I do my meetings with my staff, we talk about ownership, and my expectation of them, I could live with them making a mistake any day. I want them to learn from, but I want them to do is own what they do. I want them to encourage them, take over your department, make it better, figure out a way every day to do something better for your community. And they really thrive off that. I think we got such a small staff and they do such a great job, especially as busy we are with all the development. So kudos and thank you. The council has really done a great job of supporting our staff. You see the top picture. We have they allow us to have a dinner every year where we bring their families in. The council comes in. We gather together, have a dinner just to say thank you. And the council sits at all the different tables with the staff and the families, and they circle around and just to say thank you to them. And that is so important. And I commend our council for that, and it shows in our staff. I mean, those aren't fake smiles like get me out of here. Those are smiles where they truly are appreciative, and they're appreciative of the work they have here. We continue on the Montverde tradition. It's almost impossible to get a carnival anymore, but so what we've done is, we took the lemons and made lemonade and done the best and try to create different events in there and enhance the beauty of it and try to find new games for the kids to do and things along that line. So we continue on the Montverde tradition, and it's a lot of work to pull that off. It really is a lot of work, but it's fun. It's very rewarding when it's over with. Our town is also, we support our children and the families, providing a safe place for trunk or treat. This is, a picture of, every year we do the trunk or treat, which is coming up on the 30th, by the way, at the park. So Kathleen needs more trunks. Please call Kathleen at the library because the phone now works there. And if you can be a trunk. But again, this is another example of our council and our town hall team supporting our community. Easter's another example, 10,000 plus eggs gone usually within 60 seconds or better. Again, it's every council member is at that, every town hall staff members at that, and we all show up to support our children and make a fun activity for the area. And then there's Christmas. We've really tried to make a fun mayor lighting every year. I don't know who that guy up there on the right is, but thank you, Santa. It's kind of funny because it's being Santa is a lot of work. It starts at 8 in the morning dressing up as Santa to get on the fire engine and hauling in here to have 700 kids sit on you. But that's also on the bottom, we're making homemade chili there. We're doing the lighting. We have the fire department and just full of volunteers, their wives and families, and of course some of you in the community come out to volunteer, and it just makes a very special homey place in Montverde. And mayor and council, we make up Montverde, and that's kind of was my last slide. And I just want to thank all of the council. I think we've had a good few years here and a good last year here, and I think we got many great years ahead of us. So that's it, mayor and council.
Alrighty, great. And we have a really, really good team. Everybody here, all the people who work in the town, unbelievable team right now. Let's move on to the citizens' questions and comments. If you want to talk to the council about anything that's not on the agenda, come on up.
Paul, you're tough to follow. Farmer Banks, Helfrich, Clay Road District, South Lake County. Farm tip of the day. Cool weather, the fall and the winter. Time to put those crops into the ground. In fact, a lot of crops into the ground. Anything underground, so that's carrots, radishes, onions, beets, and also turnips. Any brassicas and cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kales, and also spinaches, any lettuces, and also the quintessential fruit/vegetable, the tomato. Put it in the ground now. Mayor, council, distinguished guests, roughly 250 years ago, our forefathers signed and ratified the Constitution. Immediately thereafter, they worked on the amendments. The first 10 amendments of the Constitution are considered, or of the first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights, quite aproposly named since they are the rights given to our citizens. These rights include the right to petition our government, the right to bear arms, the right to freedom of speech, the right to due process. These rights are explicitly written in our Bill of Rights. These rights are also they come with a caveat, and that caveat is individual responsibility. So when you go ahead and utilize and exercise these rights, you have the individual responsibility of that right. For instance, you can go to the middle of the square and you can exclaim at the top of your lungs and explain every viewpoint you have. My mother always said, your words, choose them wisely, because they will be with you for the rest of your life. So, rights come with individual responsibilities. I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. May you all be blessed. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Well, thank you, Farmer Banks. Thank you very much. All righty, let's move on. I'm sorry. Come on up.
Bob Tomlinson, 16634 Magnolia Terrace. Great job that you've done, Paul, and the group. I was here roughly about a week and a half ago, and honestly, anyone that was here a week and a half ago, no way this was going to happen. And they turned it around. It's amazing. We're blown away that everything got put together and it all got together. But one thing I did want to bring out, John Arellano really deserves a big hand because he really helped put all this together. Let's give him a hand. He's not here, but let's just give him a hand. Without him, it wouldn't have happened. Now, I'm part of the visioning committee, and we all got together and with Paul to put all of this together. And but roughly about 2 years ago, not only did we put this together and have the thoughts and started getting together and doing the architectural work and what have you to finally get a completed project, but we also wanted to carry this, Paul, if you remember, we wanted to carry this into the downtown quarter as well and kind of bring this look. And it was part of the visioning committee at that time. And now we've got the Bella Collina is eventually going to be coming in with multi-million-dollar subdivisions, along with the same thing with Osgood. And with all of that, we need to really start looking at the vision of doing something in the downtown district to be able to have, well, some nice restaurants, bring this kind of look into downtown, make it really a complete project for Montverde. What I do think that we do need to have, and I never was a proponent to have, obviously, sewers throughout the whole town, but the downtown district needs some form of a sewer system, and I wanted to bring that out, that maybe the council could look into that and to see what we could do to try to get grant money put together so we can start building the downtown district to kind of make this all flow and look really awesome, because it looks awesome now. Thanks.
All righty, anybody else like to talk to the council? All right, let's move on. Do you want to go through this list, Paul? You're welcome to.
Oh, sorry. We got some bugs to work out. Yeah, first, just a couple of things on my manager report, Mayor, then I'll hit that grant project report real quick. I just want to let the council know that the hills of Montverde has started building houses, and we're starting to supply water to them, and so we'll be putting those meters in soon. As a follow-up, there was some discussion regarding Franklin Pond and the water quality there. I have contacted with the assistant manager at Lake County, and he's arranging a meeting with Lake County Water Authority to come meet with me and look at it and come up with some I guess, evaluation of what's going on and maybe some solutions we can work on to try to address that problem in the future. So I just want to let you know I have followed up on that as well. And obviously the town council chamber had a facelift in a matter of 11 days. And I too want to echo my heartfelt support and thanks to John for all of his work and dedication. He was here on the weekends. Last week we were here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, both of us working. And John just stepped in and didn't blink. In fact, he even went down to help the cabinet guy sand some of the cabinets out to get the final ones done, to get them done. So if you see him, please give him a pat on the back. He went above and beyond for this community. He didn't have to do that. He makes a lot more money building houses than he does working for me here at the town. So just if you again see him, please, he really is worthy of a pat on the back for that. Also, just let you know the grant worksheet is in your packets, and I'll start going down. The library, yay, we're there. We got a little bit more to do. There's still some more cabinets being built, so you'll see some different things pop in there over the next probably 2 months. We still have a lot of books to put out. Kathleen went live as far as putting everything out of storage and making it available, and I think she said within a few hours they had 180 books on hold, which is unheard of for us, you know. So they got a lot of work cut out for the next few weeks, kind of getting things done and organized. And again, thank you. We had so many volunteers. I know a lot of you council members were there as well, came and put those books on the shelves and helped, and thank you again for that. Generator, we're just waiting on the Shafi grant funding for that. Outdoor park bathroom, already updated you on that. Water tank, I updated you on that. Butterfly garden, they are supposed to mulch it before Montverde Day and get in there and do the weeds. Our new landscaping company, they came in this Saturday and did town hall for us around town hall. Hopefully you noticed all the new mulch and the cleanup that was done around here. Nothing new on the community building. It's now storing the canoe temporarily for me while we did our rehab. And fire station's looking really good. I talked with Chief just a little bit ago. They've broken ground on that. They're putting the pad in, getting the site work done, and hopefully getting ready to go vertical here in the next few weeks. So that's exciting to see that. The Kirk Park Playground, I'm going to talk about that a little bit on our budget appropriations. That's coming up in a bit. Ridgewood Avenue and the ADA ramps and sidewalks, I'm going to move that now down to a finished product. We finally got the signs in. They were kind of on a 6-7 month back order. So the crosswalk signs are in on Ridgewood there now. So that project is done right around Mag Terrace. Lakeside, I haven't been out there, but I understand it's been paved. I'm sure they have a little bit, they got probably some striping to do and finish up the storm project. Their to finish date is the end of the month to get that done. They're supposed to be substantially complete, I think, actually this week. Then they got a couple of weeks to get everything kind of buttoned up on that. Porter Avenue and First Street, that is currently out the bid. I think next week the bids are due on that. So hopefully we'll get some good competitive bids for that. So that's basically what we did on Lakeside, going down Porter from 4th Street and a good portion of First Street down there. The boat ramp, just so you know that the county now has started to work and stage out there to build a new tower at the Ferndale Preserve. And so I met with the contractors out there a week or two ago, and we talked about how they're going to stage. There will be some intermittent boat ramp closures when they build the huge barge that they got to carry the concrete trucks on or whatever. They're going to have to close it for about 3 days, and otherwise it'll be just for a couple hours per day. But they said they'll work around the boaters when that happens. Truscott Park, we are still, FEMA's just really slow. I talked to the managers last meeting. No one's getting really much out of FEMA right now. Things are just kind of getting slow responses, but things are still, I guess, slowly crawling on that. We did start to put the new fence in there. We did have a surveyor marked out there. We've expanded the size of the park because our fence was about 15 feet off the line. And so we put the fence back on the line out there at Truscott, and we'll continue to work on that. I've now, after that last meeting, our engineer will go ahead and start designing the stormwater portion of that going through. I will say as an update, FEMA did come back and ask for an engineer's estimate to rebuild the whole entire dock, and we sent that to them. And so we're hoping we'll get approval just to rebuild the whole thing to a commercial windproof quality because it needs it there was a lot of damage from the storm. Nothing new on the 455 project. The facility plan's being wrapped up and sent into DEP. We will have a public meeting to go over the plan part. So it's a very high level plan. So that'll be at the next meeting. That's required under the Shafi agreement. Nothing 8th, 9th, and Temple and all that area is also included in that design plan that we're going to present at the next meeting. I explained the elevated water storage tank to you. We're still waiting for DEP on all the well stuff. Also, we're still finishing up our consumptive use permit information. We have most of the engineering done now for the water line and upsizing loops and hydrants. So once we get permission from Shafi to go to bid on that, we'll probably have a good portion of that ready to go to bid. And I think that's all that's on there, Mayor, Council.
All righty. Thank you very much. About Anita, do you have anything?
Just briefly, just wanted to remind you to check your email. Caroline sent a conflict waiver form that Mr. Grant had filed, and just wanted to make sure that you had received that. And it'll be incorporated into the minutes at the next meeting. Thank you.
Are you watching the legislation about the property tax at all?
I received a link to watch one of the speakers talk about it in the legislature, so I'll be doing that. I can report at the next meeting on it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Move on to our town planner first.
We processed about 34 applications in September, so we've been busy with the permits. And just a reminder that we are starting our office hours tomorrow. We'll be in the new library every Wednesday morning from 9 till 1 o'clock. And residents are invited to come in and talk about any permits that you have coming up and see how we can help you. And that's it. Thank you.
So that everybody understand that? If you got a question about a permit on Wednesdays, 9 to 1, they're going to be on site. So just come and talk at that point. All righty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lake County Commissioner.
Yeah, good evening. I'll keep it quick. Had a roundtable meeting recently with all the cities, mayor, as you know, and Paul, as you know, regarding the JPA's, joint planning agreements. I thought that meeting went very well. A little bit of good news to report coming out of Leesburg. Understand from their recent council meeting that they're ready to possibly get into agreement with the county where areas within a geographic area, certain geographic area, they will no longer annex or they will not annex, and those areas would remain county rural designation. So something potentially pretty big for us if we can reach that agreement. Now that's just with the Leesburg and the Leesburg area. Of course, the goal of all JPAs is to come up with some similar agreement to address annexations, not so much with Montverde because you're really not going to be annexing much or anything at all really beyond this point. But it's with the other cities as well to address growth and obviously better communication too, and how growth is roads are funded and certain development standards. So some good news coming from those meetings. We'll meet again in 3 months with all the cities again in roundtable fashion in Leesburg. Yep. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. And let's go to town council. How about Grant? Do you have anything?
Yeah, just looking for any update on the Fosgate Bridge. It's the main thing I've been hearing. But
Fosgate Bridge, the Turnpike Authority told me that it's going to be done before the end of the month. There it is.
I'm looking for one. I'm looking for one too.
yeah,
So that's the second time they told me that.
Mr. Mayor, did they say what month?
Bing, did they say what month?
You notice I didn't put it on Facebook.
And then also with the permitting portal, is there a way to get an email notification whenever you get a response on the portal?
You are supposed to get an email notification, I believe.
I never have, and I'm not the only one that
Okay.
doesn't receive one.
I'll look into that.
What was that? I didn't hear it.
The permitting portal, whenever you submit documents or responses, the staff will respond, and you don't get a notification that they responded. The only way that you can look at it is to log in, physically log in, and then view your reviews that way.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. It should be set up once all the responses come in, then it sends it out. But we're looking to update it to, I think it's called iWorks, which is what I understand, a much better program that doesn't have all these flaws that we're experiencing.
So we won't be using Citizen Serve anymore?
I think we're going to transition out of it.
Okay.
I have staff's been doing some seminars and looking into it. In a lot of other cities in the area have done it, and it seems to be a more user-friendly for both our citizens and also on the staff side of it. So still getting a few reviews, but probably again in the wintertime, that's when we'll probably look at doing some transitions.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Joe. Do you have anything?
There we go. So for me, basically the only thing I had done this past week was I met with Paul and I did a security audit on our website and reviewed the results with Paul, and I'm not going to go into the details of those, but he's going to make some changes, I think. We're going to talk about them, but anyway. That's it.
All righty. Alan, do you have anything?
A couple things I want to bring up. One of them is Lakeside. Paul, the speed limit is posted 15 miles per hour. Some of the residents have already talked to about excessive speeding already. It's their fears it's turning into a quarter-mile drag strip. The residents have expressed to me that they would like the speed limit to stay at 15 miles per hour and potentially may have bigger signs that say it's posted. Now, as to enforcement, I know that's hit and miss. We've had that all through town, but that was a concern that quite a few had shared with me, and I mentioned I would bring it up tonight for the council to, if they want to need a motion to move on that or something, but they like it at 15. They wish it would stay at 15 and maybe enforce the 15 if there's any way possible to do that. That was the first thing. Second thing was you showed on the past year and 5 years, and I did note you're going to show Santa and Mrs. Claus. So on that subject, it's been an honor to serve this town in that role. The last 4 years, I was asked to participate in the Santa Claus, and I have joyfully done that, and I believe that my returns on my investment have far outweighed what I put into it. We have a fantastic town. You parents ought to be proud of your children. It's a joy every year to see them, and some of them for the last 4 years you can go, oh my gosh, what did she feed you the last 2 years? You were, So I enjoy that, and I really like giving back, and it's one of these things I feel honored that I'm able to represent our town on that special evening, and I wish more of you would participate in little things like that. It breaks my heart sometimes to see the children you get to see, and you get to reach out to them, single moms that are struggling, and if you can make that kid smile, make that mom smile, it brings tears to sometimes their parents' eyes. And you don't know what my wife and I, sometimes you really have to struggle to keep the tears back. You're going, I don't know how I can do this, but you do. But we have a tremendous group in this town, and those of you who are behind the scenes, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do every year. It's not just Christmas, we do all the events. And we are a giving town. When I know we're in an election cycle and a lot of us are knocking on people's doors, but you hear stories that you don't normally hear at council about how neighbors, yes, I said neighbors, reach out to neighbors, and they make sure that the single mom who just lost a husband or something or a family member, they get reached out and loved on. And I think that's the best thing our town can do, is to say that we are a giving and caring town. I met somebody tonight that said that's one of the reasons they are moving into our town, because they saw last year's Christmas and they were oohed and awed, their words, by what we do and how we outreach to the community. And that says a lot about Paul. That says a lot about this council, a lot about our mayor and his leadership. Him and Claudia do a lot behind the scenes. A lot about people like Lance who come to the plate and do all kinds of things. And there's a lot of you that are sitting out there that I could say your names to. And we have a very good partner with Montverde Academy. I am honored to have them. Years ago, I think that wasn't the way people thought about Montverde Academy, unfortunately, but it's changed, and I think it's for the better. And I'm glad that they are part of our town. We all have quirks, we all have quiggles, we all have dents in our armors, but at the end of the day, like Paul said, and we all come together and love on each other, and we're able to move on. And that's what makes Montverde so what it is. And I am honored to have served you for these years, 4 years on council and 2 years on P&Z. You talk to other towns. Our cycle for budget this year, a lot of us reached out to other communities, Howie, Asatula. I reached out to Oakland, close to me, and things that Paul mentioned about our town, our taxes. It's amazing. When you think it's bad, it's like saying you're complaining because you have a pair of shoes with holes in them until you realize somebody doesn't have shoes, and it makes you feel honored to have shoes. I think that's kind of the way our town is a lot of times. We are honored beyond our means. So that's what I wanted to basically say to our town and to council. And I'm looking forward to seeing you, because since, let's see, July 1st, I was informed that, what is it here? Yeah, the book was cleared until July 1st. The naughty and nice list has been reset, so you need to be paying attention to your P's and Q's, shall I say. So second chances are given. So thank you once again, Dr. Weiss. It's an honor to have you lead us in prayer every time that you're here, and I think that's great that we're able to have a community that allows us to have prayer before we start, and I hope we never lose sight of that. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. All righty, Carol, do you have anything?
Well, kind of a hard act to follow, but yep, I will take a moment to basically echo what you said, Mr. Hartle. Montverde has a footprint, but the heart and soul is what's inside the town limits, and that includes everybody inside and outside of this chamber. Whether you're for us, against us, like me and don't like me, we all beat the same heart, and we all contribute to what makes this town good. And I like living here, and I know everybody else does too. One terrifying moment, however, when at the library, sitting down to some delicious barbecue, and somebody mentioned, "Have you seen Mr. Hartle? He cut his beard." You're kidding. And the first thing we said was, well, there goes Christmas. Why'd he do this now? Why didn't you wait till the first of the year? Notice I used the word cut, and I think cut, not trim. So when we saw him approaching and we see that he still has his beard, it's like, yes, Christmas has been saved. We're in good shape. We're in good shape. And the only other thing I know, we had discussed Franklin Pond and the setup with Lake County. I know why it's not good for me to be there, but can a generic resident from Franklin Pond be in on that?
I think I would just want to meet with Lake County first, and then if we need to have them come do something at the public, we'll do it at the public. So yeah.
That answers my
That's
question
okay.
then.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's it for me, yeah.
All right.
And at Lakeside, yes, it's done. Hallelujah.
Mr. Mayor, I do take one for the team since I play a tuba. Tuba is a very large mouthpiece, and it irritates the dickens out of a mustache when you try to play tuba. So August 1st of every year, I grow a mustache for a certain time of the year called December. So I let you know that I've taken one for the team on that. So December 26th, it probably gets trimmed. Also, those of you who have children and grandchildren, please, I reach out to you. Santa is not responsible for the gifts delivered to your house, so my kneecaps get kicked every year, like, why did you bring me this when I wanted that? So This year, I'm having some hockey fans give me some knee pads, so I will be protected. But thank you for the advance notice.
All righty, thank you very much. I got a couple things. During the meeting tonight, we were talking about the houses that are being built on Fosgate by the Turnpike, and it's, what's that called again, Mount Verde?
Hills of
Hillside.
Montverde.
Hills of Mount Verde. In case you don't know, I like to communicate this all the time. That is 23 acres getting over 90 homes. That is a product of what Lake County allowed them to build. That is what would have been in Willow Ridge. And by annexing in Willow Ridge, it became 2 homes per acre gross. So it was 117 acres, 234 homes. The hillside there is 25 acres. I believe it's 93 homes. And if that isn't bad enough, they're all rental homes. Okay, so that's the product that is out there because the market's there for that, because people can't afford to buy a house. So the people would developing and make money off it, put the houses in there. Atlanta was 33% of the homes built last year in Atlanta were rental homes, new homes built. And that's happening throughout the whole country. So you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just wanted to mention it. If you guys look at I need to talk to you all about this. And this is pretty easy to understand now, right? When you read the grant thing. I talked to Paul about this during the week. And it's not really just for us to understand. It's for the people that replace us to understand. So I talked to Paul about taking the impact fees and making another chart just like this with the impact fees and having columns, impact fee reward, this is where we are, month to date what's spent, year to date what's spent, and what money's left over, and on. And we can figure out the columns so that anybody could sit down with this like they can now with the grant money and understand it. And Paul agreed that we probably need to move that forward. And again, it's important for us to understand it. But this tool right here, the impact fee one and the grant one, for the new people that are being brought into council, for them to understand how that money flows a little easier. All right, because we're all going to die off sooner or later. So, we need to have that. All right, so that's one thing I want to talk about.
And Mayor, just real quick on that. And so all that information is in your council packets now, but it's over several pages and in different sections. So the mayor's asked for a summary sheet, so you guys could easily take a quick look at it.
Yeah, the P&L that you have in here, you can find it, but it's one number here, one number there. Really, really hard to follow, and I want to make it really simple. And Paula thinks that's a good idea too, so we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, thank you. And the fee schedule thing, I forgot to ask you about that today. Did you guys get that done? Or are you in the process of doing that? We want to put on online something where the residents can go and see what the fees are for each item that we have to charge.
Yeah, we're in the process of updating it because our new impact fees come effective, I think, this week. So they've been going through and updating that. Then we'll put it under
We've been busy with the library.
Yeah, on the financial section. By the end of the month, you'll see it up there.
So we're going to have something that you can go online and look at fees and write on one chart so you can follow it pretty easy. I wanted to ask Anita if she's had any update on the Ferndale septic company process. Okay.
Sorry. No, I spoke with the county. They still have their application pending, but I think the county was waiting responses from the applicant.
What would be the next step?
So it goes through a period of review, and evidently there were comments and questions posed to the applicant, and the county's waiting to receive response from the applicant, and then it'll be circulated again. And they've put me on the distribution list, so I'll get copies when the applicant resubmits, and then we can look at it and provide copies or comments back. At some point, if they choose to move forward, it'll go through a public hearing process.
And we'll go to that. Okay.
Correct.
Alrighty. You guys are familiar with that? Okay. All right. The other thing I really want to explain real quick was, everybody in Montverde, especially if you've been here a while, understands we're only 2 square miles. And in that 2 square miles, we have the Osgood property that we're finishing up, as far as the 100 and, I want to say 35 homes that are going to go in there, which, by the way, it started at 400. Everybody can remember. We're at 130 something. And that's going to be half-acre lots, and that's going to finish that development. The other project that's going on right now, it's going to be coming forward, is Belclina owns 59 acres on Ridgewood, 58 acres on Ridgewood, 10 acres in front of the towers that they bought and leveled all those houses. They want to annex the 10 acres into the 58 acres they already own, and they want to combine, that's 68 acres, which allows them to build 136 homes for 2 homes per acre gross. And they're coming, from what I understand, with a big number under that, 100 and something, like 110, 115 homes. So that's going to be built, that 58 acres on Ridgewood. So really, the only thing left in Montverde that has any volume is up on Sally's property on McQuaid's, up on Ridgewood and Lake Street. There's the 10 acres where we were looking to put a plant there. And across the street lake, there's 10 or so acres there. There's probably, I don't know, what did you say there was, Dan? 18. How many? 18. Okay, 18 acres in that area. That is the only big area in Montverde left to build on it, and that's it. But, let me rephrase that. If you go down towards the trailer park, I hate saying that, the mobile home park, on the right, going down the hill, is 37.5 acres that backs up to Belclina, that I'm sure Belclina is going to purchase, because I know that the owner was offered $11 million for 37 acres, which was, in my opinion, was stupid not to take, but obviously he's squeezing Belclina for more money. Nobody's paying that kind of money for that property, so that's going to be Belclina eventually, which is fine because they put gates around their places, and all the money they pay to the town in home taxes, we keep and don't have to do anything inside the gate. So that money is total pure revenue to help you. Okay, so the same thing with the 58 acres, 68 acres they're going to build on. They're putting gates around it. They're going to go in and out of Belclina's front gate, and they're $1 million to $2 million to $2.5 million houses. They're going to pay us $2,000-3,000 each. So just in 115 homes, you're up to what? $345,000 free. Okay, that money comes into our $3 million budget. That's a 10% raise overnight. And the same with the Osgood property. They're going to be building that. They're not going to be putting gates on it. Although I was the one that wanted it, but nobody wanted it. But they're going to be paying taxes to us too. So why I'm bringing this up and explaining it over and over and over in council meetings is, after Belclina finishes, after Osgood finishes, the only thing that's left is the 18 acres. And one of the things that's on the ballot right now that you need to learn yourself, because I can't direct you on what to do with it, but read the description about the charter change that we want to do, and I can explain what it is, right? Okay, the charter change is asking, do you want to or you don't want to make any density change in Montverde? Density being that our law, or our written law, is 2 homes per acre gross, meaning you can have 2 homes on an acre anywhere that you can fit them with our rules. If somebody wants to change that and put 4 homes per acre, that's a change of density. That would have to go through the process of planning and zoning, the council, and everything else. What we're doing with the charter change, what the charter change would change if it's passed is it will take 4 people out of 5 to agree with that, not 3. So having 4 people out of 5 agree would be harder. So think about it. You have questions. Any one of these council people are happy to talk to you about it and give you more definition on it. But even if you don't care about the election, go to the election and vote the way you want to vote for that charter change. That charter change is very important for Mount Verde, and it's only for the 18 acres. Unless people come in here and buy 50 houses, which is not going to happen. But does that make it clear? Did I do that okay? Okay. Because we can't direct you on how we feel about it. Okay, so all right, and then that's all I got. But let's move on. All right, we started out with a beginning balance of $4,483,097.46. We ended up with $3,701,979.32. We got a consent agenda with all the minutes for July 8th, July 15th, August 12th, and August 12th caucus. I need a motion to approve or disapprove.
There was one correction.
Okay.
Where we had the vote, it was a 4-person vote, and it was showed up on the record as 3-4 instead of 3-1, which was minor. There was a,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Tell
it's
Caroline.
on page 7 of 12 for
I didn't catch that.
the July 8th. July 8th, the Grant Rogers was appointed to town council 3-4. Should have been 3-1. No big deal, but we had 7 people, so. Yeah, super majority. Thank you.
All righty, thank you very much. All right. Need a motion or to deny or approve?
I so make a motion that we approve it with correction.
Need a second? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to discussion and actions. Town council approval of the appointment by the town manager of Caroline Panini
Trepanier.
to the
Trepanier.
position of town clerk. Our charter requires the council to approve the position of the town clerk. So Paul wants Caroline to be the town clerk, and I'll open it up to the public. Does anybody want to talk about it? All right, bring it back to council. I personally support it. Anybody else want to?
Do we need a motion or anything on this?
I make a motion that we approve Caroline to the town clerk's position.
So second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to.
Mayor.
Yep.
We do need to give her the oath of office because we traditionally have
Please
done
do.
it.
Yeah, that's great. I'll get a picture.
Stand up.
You got to swear in.
That's nothing else to embarrass her a little bit.
We're going to do that next month too, right? We'll have people to swear in next month. Right? Oh, I got to get sworn in too.
I, Caroline Trepanier, a citizen of the state of Florida in the United States of America, being appointed to town clerk of the town of Montverde, do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida and the Charter of the town of Montverde. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
All righty, move on to discussion of legislation and appropriation request. Do you want to explain that, Paul?
Sure, council. Gosh, I have to work on that. Every year, on behalf of the town, I put in a legislative appropriation request that goes to our state legislators, and that is for funding for special projects. Over the last 5 years, we've received 2. One was one of our stormwater projects that we currently have working. I believe That was $375,000. And this last year, we received a state legislative appropriation request, and that's for improving the crosswalks on 455 by the school, and also adding some sidewalks in the area. It's that time of year where we have to start putting our request in for, is it June or July hearings? Yeah, it's usually in June or July, right, Sean?
The sessions for this.
For the appropriations. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like in the summer, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, it's coming quick.
Okay.
Absolutely. You got to do it now.
Woodward and Kern, our engineers, they actually have a lobbyist that works because they help and assist with each of these appropriation requests, and also the county has worked on our behalf with some appropriation requests. So their lobbyists are out there working it, and they talk to legislators, and they get an appetite for kind of stuff that would have a better chance of getting approved versus not being approved based on what the governor's saying or what their priorities are. So we walked through some of the needs of the town with Morgan French, who does helps us with a lot of the finance things and works with the legislator or the lobbyist. And we've identified 3 projects, and I just want to make sure you guys agree on them that we can apply for funding. The first one would be funding for the old fire station to rehab that for a future use area. There could be a pretty good appetite, we think, for that because we would have some impact fees to do a pretty substantial grant. And again, this would be funds that would be used 2 years out from now. So be planning, engineering, everything. So it takes a long time to get there. So that was a project when we went through it, we felt like we could be pretty competitive on that project. So that would be my first recommendation. The second one is for additional sidewalks within the town. We feel especially we really can make a case for safety with the school here, with the state road going through. We have a good case for some additional sidewalk money like we got this year. And then the other thing we talked about there is we have in our current budget that you guys approved, both through impact fees and general funds from, from our fines, from our code enforcement, to put a enhanced park or put a playground over at Kirk Park. For new playground equipment. So that's still in this year budget that you approved. I think there's like $275,000 in the budget. So we could take that $275,000 and say, hey, state legislators, we're going to match this 50-50 or some match of that, and maybe get that up to $500,000 because we already have the match in the budget. So those are my 3 recommendations we feel would do pretty good. Obviously on the stormwater side, there's we don't feel we'd be competitive with anything storm because there's a lot of other money we could possibly apply for storm. Our water project, we're pretty good to go. So those are the largest needs. I just want to make sure you guys are okay with us putting a fund request in for those 3.
You guys okay with that?
Mr. Mayor, when Billy Bates was on here, we had a discussion, this was probably 5 years ago, about Truscott Park and playground. Do you ever remember what happened to that?
No.
Because we had talked about looking into it, we never did it, so.
No. Did you see what Paul and the engineers are looking at for Truscott? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind
And I apologize. I said Truscott. I meant Kirk Park. I got FEMA on my mind. This is the playground for Kirk Park.
Okay.
And my complete apologies on that. So Kirk Park, as you know, that's in the budget for her. That's why you're all giving me weird faces. I can't get it now. So we have money in the budget, and really what we were looking, the goals for Kirk Park were twofold. One is getting some equipment for a little bit of older kids out there, and we don't have anything in a park system that's ADA accessible, which we are required to do that. So that's something we need to at least start making strides towards. So that's why I picked that as an appropriation project.
Okay, so it's Kirk Park.
Sidewalks and community building.
Are you guys okay with that?
So sidewalks, I keep coming back to, is this what our residents want? That's like, when it comes to sidewalks, I'm fine with the other 2, but the sidewalks one, I'd like to hear more from residents if they feel we need them. So,
Wow, they've been screaming at me for 15 years.
maybe so. I just would like to, I'd like to hear something from them if we can. Like,
How about you, Grant?
Well, Mr. Davidson brought it up, 2 meetings ago, about wanting sidewalks over on Palmview. So, that that would be a good place to start. I mean, he said that he's been waiting 20 years, somewhere in there for him. But the playground sounds good. I like the idea of that.
You guys?
The only issue with that, that's one resident. I'd like to hear from more than just one resident. That's all. That's my only, when it comes to sidewalks, but parks wise, I'm fine with the other stuff.
Well, like one of the big sidewalk projects was coming down Ridgewood all the way to the roundabout and then coming down to Mount Bird so that the people in that section of town could walk down here. And then the trail's supposed to be coming up and down 455 going up the hill to Ferndale. So that, Paul's working on that right now. So I don't know what kind of money's there right at the moment. We've been working on that for 15 years. It's been a long time. And no, they have other plans for the one going towards Ferndale because there's a lot of trails that they want to finish. What do you guys think?
I'm a fan of the sidewalks, just namely for the safety issue, so that it gives you an opportunity to walk around town safely without being in the road. In all honesty, I have had 2 comments that are like, why do we need all these sidewalks? But by far and away, most of the residents that have spoken to me or that I have spoken to are in favor of the sidewalks. But in honesty, there's been a couple that said, yeah, no, we don't need them, we don't want them.
And I think it depends on what roads they are.
I think a lot of it is what road it is.
If there's a road there's only 6 houses on and they don't want sidewalks, then
yeah.
that's understandable. But some of the main roads, yeah, definitely.
I agree. I think that it's part of our goal to connect bimodally with foot, so. And I like the idea of money being there to update. Not update. I guess in my head I'm thinking more of expansion with Kirk Park and bringing in more equipment.
Yeah, if you recall, the Vision Committee presented
I
a plan
do.
for a new
Yeah.
system that was kind of ADA accessible with some new features, so we could build upon that vision that they had, and maybe if we're going to do it, let's do it all the way and make it something really cool. So that's what we would go for. I mean, it won't be, I think what they were proposing was 300, so we'd be adding maybe another 200, so we can get those extra features like the shade canopy, a
That
couple
was an
extra
issue.
swings, those kind of things, and nice turf, the rubber turf. So
Do we have that?
if you need accessibility, you can have accessibility, because you do have a lot of grandparents that have mobility issues on walkers or in an electric stroller that are there with their grandkids, and you see them there, and we can provide something where they can go right up to the slide and interact with their kids. So I think that's important in the long run to look at that.
You said something that caught my ears, is that the money would be there for the awning, for the canopy.
Well,
Maybe.
the project I think they showed was right a little over 300,000 with everything they wanted, and
Right.
so if we put in this appropriation request, we still have that funds, and we would use that as a match instead of just putting 100% cash in. We'll use it as a match to try to double the money. Essentially, is what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Well, I have to agree with Vice Mayor Womack. A lot of people don't want to on small side streets, but the biggest thing that I have a problem with is from Fosgate down to the existing trailhead. I see too many of our neighbors in my neighborhood, Lone Ridge, and others that are like, we're walking on the side of the road to get to the trail before we can use the trail. And I know we've discussed expanding the trail up to Fosgate to the fire station area. That's what I would really like to see as a priority from that point of view. The trail is used. We've got a lot of walkers in my neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods, and there's a lot of people that were at this evening at the library that said this is really nice. We kind of wish we'd be able to stroller our kids safely instead of having to do them on 455. I could not disagree with that. So from that point of view, I am more in favor of connecting the trail first and see what our demands are. If they want sidewalks, we'll go from there. I know most of like Grant had said, most of the smaller neighborhoods with less than, a dozen houses, they're not pushing for a sidewalk, traffic is such, and they know their neighbors and they're not having problems with speed or whatever. So that's how I'd feel. I'd rather see a priority to finish the trailhead out up to at least to the top of Fosgate, whatever we need to do there. That would make it a lot safer and utilize a system that we already have, my thought.
Yeah, let me clarify there. I agree with what you guys are saying as far as the main roads go, absolutely. It's the little side streets with a few little homes. That's where I would put pause on that. But I agree with what you guys are saying there for that.
And just from past discussion, I think the sidewalks really that we're looking at over the next decades would be the purpose of connecting the larger community parts. So example, the one we put down Ridgewood, you know, we can finish that and bring that down so that whole part of town could come downtown. I think the one you mentioned obviously is very important. I've walked down the street to get on the trail before when I circled around on Fosgate. So making those connections, you know, when Osgood, you know, we had a lot of people worried about safety on 8th and 9th and Temple with the new subdivision. You know, we have the funding now for that sidewalk to connect that neighborhood. So I don't think we're going to go down, you know, small dead ends like the end of 3rd Street or the end of Highland or, you know, those type of streets to connect. It's more of once the traffic starts picking up down the streets is where we're looking for those connection points.
So you're just looking for direction on the funding, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you approve of me going after those 3 for funding. I mean, you know, 50-50 if you get, I mean, not even 50-50 you get them. We might get 1, you might get 2, you might get all of them. You never know.
So if you get the money, then we would decide where the sidewalks would go.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
we'll say here's the funds. I mean, we do have to be a little bit specific in the project, but we don't have to identify. We probably do have to identify the sidewalk.
You don't have to identify them specifically.
Okay.
Not in the application.
Not in the app. So at some point we will.
So yeah, I think everybody agrees, go after the money, and then we'll decide where to put the sidewalks.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
am.
right.
I
Everybody
agree.
okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. No, I'm good. I just need a direction, so I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to resolutions. If you would please read 2025-194.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Montverde, Florida, approving amended and restated task order proposals dated October 6, 2025 for design, permitting, bidding, and contract administration and funding administration and project management of the Phase 1 and Phase 2 stormwater improvements between the Town of Montverde and Woodard and Curran Incorporated, issued pursuant to RFQ 21-02, amending and restating the task order for the sole purpose of incorporating Attachment 8, contract provisions for coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds agreements as required by FDEP's Resilient Florida program for the town's awarded grant number 22 FRP 102, authorizing the town manager to execute the amended and restated task order proposals, providing for an effective date.
All right, you want to explain this to us?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, and staff. Scott Shannon with Woodard and Curran. So essentially, you have the work that we're doing, the planning and the design, and currently the construction of Lakeside, and soon the construction of Porter and First, was funded by the Resilient Florida program. Because the Resilient Florida program itself was funded with using federal funds, the state has asked us to go back and amend task orders. These original task orders were planning and design task orders for Woodard and Curran that you all authorized in 2022 and 2023. So most of the work has been done, barring the services during construction on those projects. But because we're actively seeking reimbursements for work that's being done now, the DEP has asked us to go ahead and amend those things to include these federal provisions, which are basically just conditions that were attached to the original money from the federal government to the state. So most of these are things that we comply with as a matter of course anyway. So all we're really doing here is restating the task order under the original terms, attaching this attachment which says we acknowledge these are the requirements and that you guys just have to reauthorize that. So they're asking us to do that now because they're holding up any further reimbursements until that gets executed.
So no additional scope or cost?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All righty. Well, okay, open it up to the public. Anybody want to talk about it? Bring it back to council. Any questions?
No questions. I make a motion that resolution 2025-194 be approved.
Got a motion,
Second.
need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay.
Thank you all.
You're in. Okay, if you would please, 2025-62.
An ordinance of the Town of Montverde, Lake County, Florida, relating to the regulation of the operation of golf carts on public streets within the Town of Montverde, amending Chapter 24 of the Montverde Code of Ordinances, providing for repeal of all conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, will you explain this, Paul, because I read it and I want to make sure I'm on the right page.
Yeah, if that's okay, Mayor, I'm going to have Anita,
Oh, I'm
just
sorry,
because she worked on the draft changes. I've
That'd
been
be
too tied
much
up on the
better.
library to.
That's okay. Okay, so
We'll get there.
changes to the golf cart ordinance really originated because there was a change in law last year that we were trying to address. And then we had many iterations of it based on where you wanted to see golf carts. This change is what was directed by council last time. So golf carts are going to be allowed on any of your streets and roads within the town where the posted speed limit is 30 miles an hour or less. And until such time as Lake County approves golf carts, they are prohibited on Ridgewood and 455. They're also prohibited on Fosgate. Once Lake County agrees, we'll enter into an agreement with them. Once they allow it on County Road 455 and Ridgewood Avenue, the town will still prohibit it within that roundabout. We included, it currently does prohibit golf carts on sidewalks, but we had an exception for town employees performing their work. The statute does require that the golf carts that they use can go no more than 15 miles per hour, and they have to have certain safety equipment. So that's detailed in the ordinance. Golf carts are prohibited from being used within the parks, other than, again, by town employees performing work. It does give the town manager the ability to designate golf parking spots within your town park. So if people drive to the park, there can be designated areas for golf parking. The state statute required us to change the limit for people using golf carts from age 14 to 18. If they're less than 18, they have to have a driver's permit or a valid driver's license. And also in accordance with the new law, a golf cart may not be operated on public roads or streets by someone 18 years of age or older unless they have a driver's license, or I'm sorry, a valid government-issued photo identification card. And then if they are operating golf carts other than between the hours of sunrise and sunset, then you have to have certain equipment, including headlights, brake lights, turn signals, and windshield, as required by statute.
So you can't go on 455 and you can't go on Ridgewood.
Until we enter into an agreement with the county.
And
And then
Fosgate.
you'll be able to, just not in that roundabout.
But we're only asking for Ridgewood and 455. We're not asking for Fosgate to be one of the roads.
Correct.
So, okay. And on sidewalks, the town can go on them, but nobody else can.
Correct.
And in the park, same thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Would it be possible to include Fosgate from Ridgewood to over by Willow Ridge? Because I know that they're really interested in riding golf carts in the town as well.
What's that?
From Ridgewood on Fosgate, from Ridgewood until, to be able to get access to Willow Ridge, they're looking to be able to ride golf carts in the town as well.
The state statute will prohibit that because of the speed limit on Fosgate. Is it, I think the state statute's 30.
35.
Is it 35? And
It has to be
believe that's
35
40,
or
isn't it?
less.
That's 35.
Oh, is it
but,
35?
I mean, that could change too, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could request the county to drop that to 30 too.
Right.
So
The
you're
third-
asking for which road then? It would be Fosgate from,
Ridgewood until Blackstill, or, and then maybe
Okay.
a part of Blackstill to one of their entrances.
yeah, I mean, we can add that to this at the next reading if that's something council wants us to include.
I think that's a good idea.
So we ask them to make it 30 mile an hour so we can, right?
just for that one section.
So we can ask that it be part of the okay deal?
And then all of town becomes consistent with speed limit.
So what?
All, the rest of town will be consistent with speed limit on the main roads, would be
Right.
30 miles an hour as opposed to.
Except for Lake, it's 15.
Yeah.
Well, there's still that long stretch of Fosgate.
Oh, there's lots of 20,
that'll
25s, but
stay.
yeah, that 30 would be the max.
From the intersection of Blackstill.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then
They-
drop it down
they-
to 30 right there.
As long as they have a way to get from, on a golf cart from Willow Ridge to downtown. And they will, if the county will drop the speed limit for us.
They'll have that back entrance there, the one closer to the stop sign, so that little section right there, if the county could drop that to 30, people should already be slowing down for that stop sign.
Right.
So I don't see
I
that.
mean, I would recommend if we do that, we do it where the city limit begins, because we're going to be moving our sign anyway. So we'd have the welcome to Montverde sign, slow down, we write tickets.
Yeah. And where, roughly where does that go?
The bridge,
And so, and then I guess on the other side, down Blackstill, how far do we go down that way?
well, and when I say that Blackstill to the bridge, so
Blackstill to the bridge, what about Blackstill to the turnpike? How far
That's what you're saying.
south?
yeah,
turnpike
I don't
road.
think they're going to do the up to the turnpike. I'm talking about you come to the stop sign at Fosgate, you make a left,
Left.
go down Blackstill
And
and
it stays
into
the
the
same.
bridge. Yeah, make
Yeah.
that at 30.
Yeah, Fosgate to the bridge.
Yep.
That's what you're talking about, yeah.
Commissioner Parks, do you see any resistance from the county on reducing that along there?
I don't think so. It has to be a request from the town.
Yeah.
So if the road, Bella Clean is to Lake County, Bella Clean is Lake County, and Ridgewood, Willow Ridge is Mount Bird, is the whole road our road?
That's kind of what I was asking.
Have to look at the mapping to see, I don't know if Blackstill was annexed into the town or if it remains in the county.
But if it stays in the county, then it's not our road. But if they say it's
Well,
okay to drive on it, then both sides.
Right, they may allow it. We
So-
would request them to allow it.
Then Bella Colina could access from golf cart into downtown as well.
Yes.
I'll tell you real quick, I have some attorney friends, and they're into liability stuff, and they have a tremendous amount of lawsuits with golf carts where people are getting hurt, and people are uninsured and they don't realize it. It's not covered under your home. So if you have a golf cart, you better get a policy on your golf cart, because when somebody falls off it, you're getting sued, and you're gonna lose. So it made me, rethink the golf cart.
You could also require them to have insurance, and they have like a sticker on the golf cart to be able to drive in the town.
Yeah, I'm just saying personally, if you have a golf
If
cart,
you
you wanna
have
be
one,
careful that,
Yeah, we're restricted by statute of what we can regulate, though.
yeah.
But just so I'm clear, we're asking the county to reduce the speed limit, or to make the speed limit 30 miles an hour all the way from the new bridge up to the stop sign at Ridgewood. That whole distance, is that right? Is that where we're going?
I thought he was said the Turnpike Bridge on Blackstill to the stop sign, not from that intersection to the new bridge.
You're correct. I did ask that question, but that,
Basically, the road from the stop sign at Ridgewood and
Blackstill
Fosgate,
or Fosgate.
all along Willow Ridge's entrance, all along the boundary of Willow Ridge.
And the Willow Ridge entrance is on Blackstill.
Correct.
Okay, so Blackstill would be.
We would ask them to reduce it to
that.
30.
Okay. And all of Blackstill, or just,
Blackstill to the bridge at the end of Willow Ridge.
okay.
So if you're going into Claremont where you get to the.
Where the curve is.
The curve.
The curve.
It's the term bridge that's fouling up my dumb
Okay,
blonde. All
sorry.
right, new bridge versus Turnpike Bridge. That's
The
where I'm-
bridge you go under.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
There you go.
Turnpike Bridge.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Okay, I'm gonna mud the water some more.
No,
Do we
I just got it
know-
clear.
Do we know what the speed limit we posted on the new Fosgate extension to Mineola? Is that going to be 30, or, because I see us the rental property people up there saying, well, we want to get in on this too, and now we have to do this again to
But
reduce
that's
it?
outside the town,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that whole
That's
thing
not in
is,
your jurisdiction, so.
yeah.
But that'll go back to county, correct, or not? So
that
we
is a
need-
county
If
road.
the,
Right.
if they petition the county for that change.
So in other words, I withdraw my statements and we leave it like it is, and that'll reduce a lot of headaches. So we just do, like you said, the turnpike under
Just
the old
yeah,
bridge.
This chunk and
Okay,
that chunk.
right, got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't too bad for Santa Claus.
All righty. I guess we need to go move forward with an motion or something.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-62.
I have a motion to approve. Any
I second.
All
Is
in
that
favor,
with
say
the
aye.
changes or without the changes? As written or with the changes that Mr. Roberts proposed?
With the changes that Mr. Roberts.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna amend it to include the section of Blackstill Lake Road in front of Willow Ridge and down Fosgate to Ridgewood.
Correct.
Okay.
And obviously that'll be pending until the county can
Yeah.
do
Lower
that.
the speed limit.
Yeah, so you'll approve this first hearing, and then we'll be in touch with county about the 30 miles per hour. Depending on their comment, we'll bring back the second reading once we have an answer, either the way you've amended it, or we'll have to bring it back and amend it back again.
Okay, we got a first, we need a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No.
yeah, come on up.
Hi, Jeff Yednack. I'm a new resident in Willow Ridge, so I like this conversation that's going on.
Thank you for coming. Thank you
yeah.
for coming.
Yeah, thanks. So I think for one, I think it would probably be beneficial before making a motion and saying that this is everything that we're doing, maybe making it be a little bit clear for residents, because it sounds like there's already a lot of confusion on the specific parts of the roads and where. Looking at Blackstill Road, I know that a lot of people drive quite a bit faster than 30 on Blackstill Road, right? You do have a long stretch there. My suggestion would be from Willow Ridge Road, which is that first street right before the stop sign at Fosgate. That would be my feedback, where to put that 30-mile-an-hour speed limit instead of further
All the way
back
down.
to cover all of Blackstill. It's a long stretch of road. I don't think people are going to follow 30 miles an hour. But if you do put it at the top of the hill, right before it goes downhill to that stop sign where Fosgate is, I think that would be beneficial, because it's already a hill that you can't really see over, and people that aren't from the area might not know that there's a stop sign only feet away. So it's a long hill down, and then you see the stop sign. So I think that would be a good point, like right at the top of that hill. And then that way you still get Bella Colina, you still get Willow Ridge. Willow Ridge, they just can't use,
That second exit.
we just can't use our main entrance,
Yeah.
but we still have the second entrance there, which is closer, and I think that would be beneficial.
Safer.
Yeah, yeah, and then also, regarding the same thing on Fosgate, I do think that lowering it down to 30 would be beneficial, especially since you've got that curve there. And I drive from Willow Ridge here quite frequently, and 35 miles an hour, especially when you're going around that curve, is
That's good.
a little bit fast. You know, I mean, it's doable, but it's, I think dropping that for the short distance from that stop sign to, you know, the next one over down to 30, I think that would be reasonable. So that would be my suggestion, just not to include all of Blackstill to the turnpike as you're suggesting.
I think that's a valid point.
Well, you want to change the motion?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the comment.
Yeah, we have some more comment.
Oh, come on up.
Brian Rubio, 16548. You know, during this discussion, I didn't hear anything about the implications of lowering the speed limit. We lower the speed limit, now speeding becomes a problem, and then what? We're gonna look into cameras, speed bumps, everything else. Also, between Osgood and the Bella Colina, 114 house development, that combined is going to have a little bit over 2,300 daily trips. So we're increasing in traffic over the next 5 years, and we're wanting to drop speeds at different streets. So I just want to make sure that, you know, you do as you will, but keep that in consideration of what the implication is of dropping the speed limit. Because right now, let's say someone's speeding over 5 miles an hour, you drop it, well, now they're speeding over 10. And then now it becomes an issue, and now we have to increase the budget for police, state troopers. So I just wanted to make sure I voiced that.
Yeah,
That's all.
I mean, they're just making it
you.
consistent with what's already there.
Huh?
I mean, we're just making that one section more consistent with what's already there with our county roads within the town. So I don't see 5 miles an hour being that much of an issue.
Well, what we're trying to do is make it where the golf carts can go on it, right? So,
Mayor and council, if I can throw a suggestion, even though I know we've bounced this one back a lot, it might make sense for me to set up an appointment with the Lake County traffic engineer and see what they would like to do on the road. We could tell them what we would like to have golf carts. We know we need to lower the speed around Willow Ridge, and they may come back and say, here's the good location to do that, and let them decide the correct location to do that. You could still make a motion to allow golf carts up to there because it's going to be pending the county's approval anyway to do that. In the meantime, I can let the Lake County professionals that do this for a living figure out, hey, we rather, you know, they may want to lower it past the bridge of where the curve is because 35 honestly is going too fast where that curve is going under the bridge right now. Sometimes everybody's been run off that road. I know I have. But that's up to, you know, I'd like to maybe see what the county thinks and give you guys an opinion what they would like to do if they're willing to lower it at all. Because that may change your mind if they say no.
so you're saying we just wait then?
Yeah, I'm saying if you wouldn't mind holding off another meeting, let me get some more information now that, because we are kind of changing the scope of this quite a bit. Let me see what the county would like
You
to
wanna
have done.
remove your-
That's up to you guys, though. I'm just throwing that out.
I would like to suggest too, that I agree with your thought there, Paul, because we haven't decided where the sidewalk is going to go, east of Fosgate, west of Fosgate. So the county would be in charge of that.
But you can't ride on the
South side.
Well, I'm saying, that's, you know, we put the golf cart, where are we going to put it? I mean, we approve it, but we don't know where it's going to go or if it will even go. So I kind of like Paul's idea,
Yeah.
talk with the county and
You
see
okay
what
with
they're going to do.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move that.
I know everyone's been waiting for this motion, but I'm going to withdraw my motion for it.
All right, so we'll just wait for that one and get back to it. Is that okay, Anita?
That's fine. Do you withdraw your second as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
All righty. Anybody else got anything you want to talk to the council about? All righty, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Against, say nay. Nay. Ayes have it.
And the nays can stay.
Hmm?
The golf cart's never going to get across the goal line.
It isn't, is it? You know what what reminds me of is Sheds. Sheds was on not a line, 15 meetings. Hey clerk. Down clerk.
We have to pay for advertising. We have to do a business impact.